Hi, this is Lady Loser, and I'm recording this video for the fifth time, I think. So I hope this time it's going to work. Yeah, so basically I'm starting this channel to react to content that I would usually watch on my own and try to make that something useful, maybe monetize the channel in the future. So let's see how that goes. Let's go watch this video.
Everyone today is miserable. I was watching just a bunch of old footage the last couple days because I like nostalgia type videos and nostalgia type topics and stuff. I saw like an old broadcast from a baseball game. I forget what year it was, but just the body language, the people's faces, everybody was happy. I've seen footage from high schools back in like even the early 2000s.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that I already watched this video. Yeah, that should be clear because I said that this is the fourth time, but even before like all the React recording attempts, I had already watched this video. And yeah, I'm going to talk about my opinion, which will sometimes be the same, other times it will be different from his, and yeah, I'll try to make that contrast throughout this video.
People's faces, everything looked a little different. There was a different sparkle in everybody's eyes. And for the last couple years, I've written most of the negative people and the doom and gloom that I see out in society. I've written most of it off as just a financial thing because the economy is affecting so many people and hard times, inflation, and all that good stuff. But I think it's more than that, dude. I really think it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, so I think I think he's right when he said it's the economy. So basically, this will be most of my opinion about this video, because people are struggling. So if you're struggling, if you're trying and always failing, how can you be hopeful? Like at some point the spark in your eyes is going to be gone, right? I can even say that I am one of those cases, right? If the spark in my eyes isn't completely gone already, it's on the way, and it's a shame because yeah, as I said, like nobody likes to just struggle and never really achieve anything. And I think a lot of people are stuck in this learned helplessness cycle. And even if you aren't like completely helpless, if you're still trying, it doesn't matter. Like if you're still trying and you're not getting results, you're going to be hopeless. You're going to, at some point, you're going to break, you know. So yeah, let's keep watching.
Because I've seen videos of people in the slums. There was still a level of happiness in everybody's eyes that you.
Yeah, and the classic like romanticization of poverty. Obviously, I don't agree with that. But I do understand his point. But let me have him finish, and then I'll share that with you.
Just can't find anymore. Something strange is going on. Something very, very strange is going on. I don't know if it's just these cell phones doing something to our brains where we can't connect on a level that we used to or that we're supposed to. Something has changed in our brains. It's not as simple as money. It's not as simple as, the dating market being worse than ever.
Just a second, I have to do a little thing here. In just a second. Right. Right. So, yeah. Continuing.
For the simple things in life that people used to enjoy, they're no longer enjoying. Something has been rewired in our brains from these phones. We are losing the ability to connect with people. We're losing the ability to appreciate a simple moment in time. I think this constant fight for attention, this constant dopamine rush, this ability to have an endless supply of dopamine when you go down whatever indulgence you want to go down on a phone, the ability to just get that with no work at all has done something to our brains. And I think we're at a point now that this has gone on long enough where we might really be seeing a serious change in people. Because throughout my life, when
So yeah, I think he's right about that, but I don't think that's the cause of the loss of spark, right? So basically there are multiple articles out there explaining that this dopamine cycle and this and the way that social media takes advantage of the human psychology, you know, to keep us entertained and to keep us inside those platforms for as long as possible. That does affect the attention span, and that does affect how we perceive the world. But I do want to come back to the first point that he made about the economy, and I think that's the main point, because if people are struggling, I think the phone just makes it worse. Because like if people had if people were able to have sorry about the stuttering, if people were able to have a hope about the future, and if they were able to have good lives, to have good material conditions, and just to have the sense of safety, you know, have the basic needs met, which is pretty much not the case for most people these days. Just look at the amount of like homeless people, the amount of people not being able to afford rent in the US, for example, people living in their cars, or people that hate that are able to pay rent and that do have jobs, but they hate their jobs, but they cannot let go of those jobs because they need to, because they live paycheck to paycheck, and they have to keep their jobs so that they can keep surviving. You know, it's if you're working class, you know it, right? So I think he started off right, but then he starts like to blame the phone, and sure, the phone makes it worse, but it's not really the real cause, right? But yeah, let's keep watching.
cell phones got popular, people would bring this topic up, and everyone just kind of stopped talking about it, because you assume, well, I can just audit myself and get off the phone, and you know, I'm gonna be all right, like a typical addict would talk that way, right? But I think now we've gotten so many generations that have grown up with this and base every waking moment of their entire life on the cell phone, smartphone. I think we might be so far into this now that to fix it is kind of out of sight at this point. When you have children that grow up at like developmental, like early stages, using this for everything, that is a problem. Because like I'm saying, look around, dude. Look around your own life. Go to the grocery store, take a walk, whatever. People are different. People are not like they used to be. It's creepy.
Yeah, I agree, and just wanted to say that I wish I could speak with, you know, a fully or with a full voice like he's doing right now, but I'm recording this video from the bedroom that I rent, and I have to make sure that I don't speak too loudly, right? Because I don't want my housemates, you know, listening to all my opinions about all of these topics. Just doesn't concern them, and yeah, so that's why I'm speaking like this. But yeah, in terms of how people are, and yeah, I do agree with him, it's creepy, but to me at least it's pretty much understandable. Just talk to any person that has a 9-to-5 job, a regular job, and everyone is pretty much facing very similar problems.
Relationships are suffering. You almost can't even have a relationship anymore. Like we could go back and forth all day long about like dating problems and women are like this and men need to do this and blah, blah. Most of it is just that humans in general, our brains are getting wacky because of these. The Pandora's box of attention that girls get from the internet or from social media, smartphones, that's done something to their brains that I almost think is irreversible at this point. Even when you guys want to talk about past...
Yeah, right, so now it's the moments that I probably get like angry comments, but yeah, as a woman, of course, I don't agree with that, because when you talk about, as you said, like attention, reward, like if it's men getting all the attention, if it's men getting all the money from whatever immoral activities that they're doing, nobody bats an eye. But if it's a woman, oh my goodness, it's the worst thing in the world, right? So, yes, but like in terms of if we speak about that in a general way, I wouldn't also judge too much, because in the type of world that we live in, you know, the big C word that I don't want to say just now, but it's going to get pretty pretty clear as we go. It just need money to survive. So people are just finding their own way to conquer that, to achieve success, to make money. And yeah, just wanted to say that, you know, just to keep in mind the double standards about men and women, right?
Or bro bullshit. Dude, most of these countries you guys talk about, they have internet. They're following the trends of garbage Western pop culture as well. The same thing. It's leaking into their brains and leaching into their minds and changing the way they think and the way they see the world, the same way that it's done everybody around us in the Western world. And this video is more than just dating. This is everything, dude. I go around my everyday life and try to communicate with people and get better at like talking to strangers. Nobody's even able to be happy anymore. Like, people have lost the ability.
Of course, like, if people have been struggling for so long, as I said before, if people are just trying and trying and failing, at some point you're going to break, you're going to lose that spark. Social media is not really a surprise. I think, and I know I've seen like quite some people that kind of have the same reaction as he has, like, and it's usually people with the same profile, like they themselves have been able to achieve some level of success that and some level of comfort in life, so they are still able to find the happiness and find that spark in their lives, you know. But most people haven't reached that level, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have tried just as hard, if not harder, as he did. So like, there's like this luck bit, and also other types of things that, in my opinion, you need to do or have to be able to be successful, and not all people have that. So yeah, let's see what else he has to say about it.
To even be happy. If something good happens, it almost feels like people see something happen and they go, I know I should be happy, this should feel good, but for some reason I can't quite feel the feeling of happiness anymore. And if they do, it's fleeting, or it's just not quite the depth and the richness of happiness that people used to enjoy in the past.
Yeah, so about that, first of all, I think people are exhausted. People are just exhausted. And when you're exhausted, you cannot enjoy life. You cannot be happy like that. You cannot appreciate the little things, because you are too worried that, for example, you won't be able to pay rent the next month. You are too worried that you will have to or you're too worried that, or too unhappy that you still have to live from your car next month, or you're too unhappy that you've tried so many things and nothing worked, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, and you feel completely hopeless about life. So like, there's that, and there's also the fact that in the past people used to, so let's say like 20-30 years ago, people used to be hopeful about the future, right? People used to have perspective about the future. At least that's what you usually would get from the news. And nowadays, what do you have? What sort of perspective do we have for the future? Everything only gets worse, and we don't really have reasons to be hopeful. Everything's going to shit, right? With climate change, with the cost of living, with jobs and wages. So yeah, how can you be happy in a world like that, right? I think he's failing to see that, and I know that he means well, but I think he's really failing to see that, to see like the reality and the material side of things.
I hope this video is making sense, because I'm kind of just on a brainstorm right now. I don't know how we fix this as a society, as humanity. Like, you go on social media and stuff, social media is just pure garbage. Like, it's literally nothing but garbage.
So I just have to say one more thing. So how to fix it? I think the way to fix it would be to change completely how things are currently done. And I know a lot of people agree on that, because that's a very generic thing to say, right? But in terms of like what should be concretely done, I can go about that in a completely different video. But basically, just, you know, get rid of the C word and restructure how things are made and how people are rewarded and how the complete system works. But yeah, let's keep to the topic of this video, and let's see what else he has to say about that.
Social media is just an addiction loophole to keep you coming back to whatever. When I say an addiction loophole, people think I'm talking about just women shaking their ass. No, I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about an anger addiction, a doom and gloom addiction, a fear addiction, a sexual addiction, whatever. Even all of the crime stuff you guys watch that's making you angry, or the division of any kind, race, religion, political affiliations, whatever, all of the division, it's just, it operates in your mind on the same addiction pathways as anything else. This shit is screwing with us bad. Like, it is, we are being ruined by the smartphone. The smartphone is ruining humans. It is. All of the anger.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just the smartphone, right? Because these algorithms belong to specific companies. So, and these companies have their own interests, right? And the interest is usually the same for all companies, which is money. And if a certain type of content makes people engage more, which will be, for example, the angry types of content, that's what these companies are going to promote. So again, it's really no surprise. It's really no surprise. And also politically, right? These companies have their own interests, and they are acting in partnership with certain governments that also have certain interests. So, and not just governments, you know, but just certain whatever people which are really powerful, and they want to keep that power. So of course it makes sense to promote all this type of content that makes people go against each other instead of looking at the real cause of all of the issues, right? So yeah, again, no surprise. So let's keep watching.
That you have, like, let's talk about something as simple as like racial anger. We all can identify with that, and we've all seen that and heard that. It's a very normal concept to people today. One of my good friends who happens to be black, we've gone back and forth about this theory that these social media platforms are very good at division, and they don't care about the issues that their division causes as long as they get more eyeballs on their platform, more engagement. And we were actually together one time, and we went to like our feeds of Instagram, and he was showing me his feed, and it's just like nothing but, you know, black people being attacked or like getting, you know, whatever, like the typical stuff that you'd see that would make you angry and make you feel attacked and make you feel like, you know, you're on the defensive. And same thing with mine. I go on my social media, and there's a lot of that stuff too in the political realm, and crime stuff, and these black Israelites that are like whitey haters, like. And I'm not searching for that stuff ever. Never have I searched for that on my phone. I don't know why it pops up. Him and I were talking about it for.
Yeah, so as I said, it basically pops up because it's probably what is trending, because it's what is the content that is being engaged with, and it's the content, therefore, that's going to be promoted. Yeah.
While, so maybe these phones are just listening and they bring this stuff up on our phones. But regardless, the perspective was completely opposite. The perspective we were both getting on our phones was for him to see me as the enemy and for me to see him as the enemy. And if you consume that stuff and you give it.
Yeah, so basically everything that I already said about social networks until now, right? Forgot what else I was going to say about that. Sorry, let's keep watching.
That you will be a product of that. And I digress. That's not really the point of this video. The point of the video is just the smartphones in general and the unhuman ways we are consuming everything now. Like, this shit is weird. Like, do you guys realize how weird it is to live today? Most people not only can't communicate well, they don't want to. Most people don't want anything to do with anybody else. If you go up to the average stranger and like say hi and try to like make small talk, they're gonna like call 911. They don't want anything to do with anyone.
Yeah, so about that. Yeah, I see it happening as well, and I think the example that he gave was a bit not the best one, right? Because usually people that say that are complaining about women that do not want to, that choose not to respond when, for example, a male stranger says hi on the street. And me myself as a woman, I've done that quite a few times, and it's basically just out of safety, right? You never know when the guy's going to go after you if you reply to the hi, right? So it's about I just hope like the men learn one day not to take this personally. It's a thing that's out of safety. And even if you say like, oh, not all men, but like a woman that's walking alone on the street cannot tell which men are the good ones and which are the bad ones. So, and anyway, if you are trying to meet somebody like that, I would say that's not the best way, right? So you have to consider all of these nuances and the experience of what it is to be a woman as a whole, if you're able to empathize with everything that you go through as a woman. But anyway, about people not wanting to have anything to do with anyone, and I think it has to do with how society has been developing throughout the years, and what are the traits that make people be successful, and what are the traits that people make be not successful, or that make people be excluded from a group. I think it has more to do with that than with the phones. Of course, as I said before, the phones will always make things worse. But I think this has to do with, for example, if you look at leaders, CEOs, just the regular in general, like the successful person in general. What traits does this person have? Is this an empathetic person? Usually not, right? Sure, there are a few empathetic people that have been able to be successful, but usually that's not what's going to be rewarded. Usually the thing that's going to be rewarded is like the fakest, the backstabbers, the people that are able to be chameleons, you know. That's what's rewarded. It's not the authentic ones. The authentic ones get bullied, they get ostracized. So again, the people that have the spark in their eyes get targeted. So how do you want people to keep that if that is not seen as something to be respected these days, right? What is respected is when you are nasty, is when you are mean, is when you are narcissistic. So yeah, let's keep watching.
Nobody trusts anybody anymore. Like, nobody's even happy. Like,
I wonder why that is.
I don't see happiness anymore in people's faces. And I think since COVID, since that virus that happened, that's changed a lot too. Something happened during the lockdowns and all this shit. Something happened to people. People have changed. I see it in their faces. There's like this element of humanity that's gone. We're not able to feel like we used to. Humans are not able to feel and connect like they used to. Something is happening. I don't know if it's something in the air, some kind of nefarious thing that's affecting our brains and our bodies.
I think again he's just failing to see it, you know. I think he started off right, and now he's trying to find like a reason that has to do with the phone and the algorithms, which, as I said, I think it does make things worse. But it's not the main reason. The main reason is basically just the quality of life that's just decreasing and just getting worse and worse. And as he said, like since COVID, people that had jobs back then suddenly started to have to work 5 times more because their 5 other colleagues were fired, and these people that were fired probably were not able to find jobs that were as well paying as this previous job that they just lost. And if you remember the news from there, it's during COVID, the rich people got richer, the poor people got poorer, and that's when the whole, that's not when, but the whole inflation and the whole cost of living crisis just got worse, and it's still getting worse. So how can you be happy in those conditions, right? If he was lucky to be able to be successful, and I'm not saying that he didn't work hard, right? But what I'm just saying is that the current system, the way that things are now, there's not enough space for everybody to be successful, regardless of how hard you try. And as I said before, what is rewarded out there is not the moral characteristics. So it's just no wonder the way things are. It's no wonder that people are hopeless and that people don't have the spark in their eyes anymore.
And I don't know, but it's almost like we're not able to feel like we used to. We're becoming robotic. I know I probably sound crazy to a lot of you right now, but I can't wrap my head around it. And if I talk to people about...
I do agree that people are becoming robotic, and I notice that as well in every environment, because you just have these social conventions, and if you don't follow them, people are going to think that you're stupid, that they're going to make fun of you, they're going to exclude you, etc., etc. And I see that happening everywhere. So if you're not a person that has fun in faking and at not being authentic, and if you thrive at having those traits that to me are like narcissistic, then you're going to lose that. You're going to lose the spark. And even if you have those abilities, but still for whatever reason you try and you're not able to be successful, that's going to happen as well. I think the reason behind that is just the constant struggle and the lack of results and the lack of people are just exhausted. That's what I mean.
It's almost like they just stare at me and they can't even comprehend what I'm saying. Do you guys realize how how shitty most of our lives are. And I don't care. I'm not talking about money. I don't care how much money you have. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and guys, I know that he means it well, but he's clearly not. He's clearly failing to notice that's a big time. Like in this society, money is probably the most important thing. Is one of the most important things that you have, because without money you don't survive, regardless of how much love, how much support you have. When he said in the beginning about slums, if he really went to places like that, and like spent actually some time, he would see that it's not all beautiful as it seems, right? So yeah, let's keep watching, man. To me, that's just obvious.
People today cannot enjoy the simple things in life that you're supposed to enjoy. They just can't do it. And if I bring it up, they look at me like I'm talking in a language that they can't understand. Like I've said in other videos.
Yeah, it's because people are exhausted, and they're probably giving you the stare because you don't understand how exhausted they are. And like, how good can your life be that you're not feeling this exhaustion? How lucky can you be that you cannot feel this, that you are not experiencing how terrible things are?
Videos. Have you guys ever taken the time in the last however many years to just go somewhere and just sit in the grass and just chill and try to not think about any of the negative doom and gloom bullshit? It's almost impossible now. And people...
Again, guys, it's always the same thing, right? So, sure, you might be able to make somebody like stop and appreciate those little things, but after they have done it, they'll have to go back to the for example, a person that lives in their car, they're going to have to go back to their car and to realize that they don't have a place to live, or they're going to go back and see that they're in high debt for whatever reason, health reasons, because they lost their job a long time ago, etc., etc. So you cannot solve these kinds of things like that. You have to have structural changes so that everybody's lives, or at least most people's lives, get better.
Can't enjoy that anymore. Our perspectives are so fucked up because of smartphones in every element of our life. Our perspectives are just twisted, man. People today almost can't be happy. Something is happening to our brains where we are not able to be happy. I don't care about money or anything. I don't care what situation you want to put them in front of or put in front of them. They can't feel happiness anymore. People can't connect on a level that they seem to have used to be able to connect.
Yeah, it's because people are exhausted.
Look at old videos, nostalgic videos. Look at like old footage from a mall or from a high school or from a park or from a ball game or anything. People's eyes are not like they used to be. There isn't joy and life and love in people's eyes like there used to be. It's going away. I don't know how phones have done this, but they have rewired our brains in a way that we can no longer feel joy and happiness. We can no longer seem to be able to connect with humans, other people, on a level that we used to. Everybody's so shallow and so quick to just bail with dating and friendships.
Yeah, again, I think this part has to do with the traits that are rewarded these days, right? So basically, you cannot show any sign of weakness, you cannot show any sign of vulnerability, because if you do, you're going to be taken advantage of. I'm pretty sure, regardless of political sides or whatever beliefs that you had, I'm pretty sure everyone has multiple experiences with people with bad intentions that have used them, and nobody wants to deal with that again, so people get defensive, right? And again, those those backstabbing, those types of characteristics, you know, being a chameleon, those are the ones that are rewarded these days. The people who are able to manipulate others are usually the ones that will be successful. So yeah, how can you be happy? How can you connect and have all of that in, if that's the society that we have?
Everything. People are so quick to bail now. Nobody has empathy really anymore. Nobody cares if they hurt anybody anymore. The human element of life,
yeah, I agree,
has feel like it's gone away a little bit. The human element, the magic of life, like the spark, the flame inside us all, that optimistic, joyful, daydreaming flame that was in all of us as a child, seems to be gone, even in children now. Think back to when you were a kid, if you're somebody that's, 35.
yeah, even children, right? So I think in this case there are so many people that had children because they had somehow hope in the future, and now they're struggling, and therefore the kids are going to struggle as well, right? They're going to suffer the consequences of that. And there are also people that have kids just to mark a checkbox of adult life, right? And then they have those kids be raised by the phones. So yeah, and as kids, as I said, like in the past, we used to have like some kind of hope about the future. It seemed that we had like perspective, that we had something to look forward to. And nowadays we don't. And if the parents don't see that, if they don't see that their kids will have a good world for them to grow up in, the kids can feel it, right? So and everything else about society, right? The traits that are valued, and even in groups, right? Like what's the person that's usually the most popular like? What traits do they have? So that's what people are going to try to become. So yeah.
5 or older. When you were a kid, despite whatever your situation was in life, despite whatever economic situation, any of it, you could ride your bike or play with sticks before smartphones, I'm saying. There was a level of imagination and optimism and joy and lust for life that nobody really has anymore. They don't have it. You cannot let that child in you die. You can't. I don't care if you're 95 years old. You have to have the optimistic, playful spark that you have as a child. The daydreamer. The imaginary circus in your mind of just endless opportunity and whatnot. You can't let that die, man.
Yeah, I do agree with him. But again, if we live in a society that will punish that whenever somebody shows that, then what do you expect to get, right? If you think at yourself, how many times have you what's the right word here? Have you how many times have somebody done this to you when you were in a moment like a little bit too bubbly or a little bit too naive, and then you get immediately punished about that? How many times have people done that to you and then you learned to keep that in? How many times have you done that to somebody, if consciously or unconsciously? I do believe that most people that do that do it consciously, because I don't know, on some level they think of themselves as better when they are like, how dare you be so authentic, how dare you be so naive, oh, you're so stupid, right? I do believe that some people think like that. So yeah, if you live in a society like that, it's very difficult to keep that spark still there, right?
That goes out, you got nothing else left, and that's just out in everyone. And it's more than economics. I'm telling you guys right now, this is more than money. It's not just money. Because I grew up without much money at all, and I had that spark in me as a kid a lot. These phones are doing something to people that even the most...
Again, right? Sure, he had the luck, and I'm not saying he didn't work hard, right? But he was able to be successful, to be comfortable enough to not lose the spark, right? How many people out there have been trying as hard as he did, or have been trying harder than he did and still didn't achieve a level of comfort in life, or success, or stability? I think that's most people, right? So, yeah.
most in-depth philosophical minds, I don't think, are realizing it. Phones are changing people, or have changed people. And we're at a point now where I don't know if we can fix it, but we better try, because look around. Just look around your everyday life. People don't have the human joy in their eyes anymore. It's gone. Nobody really has it. It's sad, man. Anyways, that was a long rant. Something that was on my mind today as I pay attention to people and people watch. It's scary, though, you guys. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Everyone today is...
Right. Yeah, so as I said in the beginning, I think I agree with, individually, with most of the things that he said. I just think that he's missing the importance of the financial bit, right? The state of things bit of his arguments, because basically how your life is, how comfortably you live, how hopeful you're able to be about the future, that impacts life a lot, right? And as I said, if you just try and fail, at some point you're going to break. So to me, it's no surprise that people are like that, right? It's just no surprise. All right, so that was the video that I wanted to react to today. If you were able to watch until here, thank you very much. Thank you so much, and maybe see you next time. So yeah, bye bye.